Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Calvin, I've been early a few times, sir. Thank you very much. And Calvin says, why can't you be early for once, Mr. Z? Really? Look, I've been early a few times. 5 minutes early, 2 minutes early, 10 minutes early, 20 minutes early. I've been early. You just haven't been here. You haven't been here, right? Um. Oh, you haven't been here for that. Um. So, if only y'all knew, life was lifing. Oh man, I love the Black Manosphere. That is why I'm here because woo, hey, if only y'all knew, like everything in the world was like, oh Z, you sure you want to stream? Watch this. Obstacle in the way. Obstacle in the way. Right. So um we I think it's time for us to take a moment, look around, check out the scenery, right? Smell the roses, count the teeny victories, right? That doesn't mean we stay here, but it is time to appreciate where we are right now, right? So y'all go ahead and take a look around and appreciate where the conversation is right now, right? That doesn't mean tomorrow you will not still be a dusty, you dusty ninjas you, but it does mean that some of our detractors are on the ropes, right? Some of our detractors are starting to cop please. Now, is it them on their knees? No, of course not. Is it them pleading? Of course not. But are they changing their tune? Yes. Are they starting to cover other content? Yes. Are they trying to cop please? Yes. Right? Do we have people who you would have never believed 5 years ago and 3 years ago and 6 years ago, right? Do we have people that you would have never believed would would be like, actually, see, I think they might have a point. Ooh, they might have a point. Yes. So, Leon, pause for the cause. We're gonna pause right there. Leon says, "Man, I'm so dusty. I took my woman to the Cheesecake Factory, and the dusty women were there too." Look, man, that same week the Cheesecake Factory debacle happened or skit happened. I took my lady, her mom, and my mom out to the Cheesecake Factory, right? And I left a nice tip. And me and my girl thought it was funny. And we told my mom about it. As a matter of fact, I played the clip for my mom and my lady's mom. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I'm so dusty, I covered the whole thing obviously by myself. I mean, isn't that what a dusty man is supposed to do? Excuse me, y'all. Y'all give me 1 second. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Leon, yes, we're so dusty. We taking them all to the dusty. And here's you want to know what's super even more dusty? My sister came into town. My younger sister came into town, and she took my mom to Olive Garden. The dust, but I guess it doesn't count because it's a woman taking a woman out. But yeah, the dust, right? All Spencer, I got my dusty ninja seasoning on deck. Hysterical, right? Oh yeah, already. Yeah, 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 yeah. Zero. I said that a few weeks ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was actually. I wanted to clip, and I regret not clipping these things earlier. There is so much of the internet black man, black woman discourse, especially over the past mm, 6, 7 years, maybe 8 years, that stem a lot from or that was being exaggerated by the grapevine. And so it is a travesty that we can't refer people back to a particular episode or a particular quote that someone said and they can't see it for themselves, right? Because there was so much pseudo intellectualism going on the grapevine, right? There was so much, right? So yeah, that's crazy. Oh, Zero says Donovan didn't know about it though. Wow. And Donovan was one of the like producers or something like that, right? He wasn't just a guest on the show. He was actually like in the background doing things also. Yeah, so there's so much online discourse between black men and black women that go back. And you remember, like I like to emphasize for those of you that are too young or that you weren't checking out the grapevine, 5, 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Well, yeah, yeah, around that time. If a lot of these people were movers and shakers behind the scenes of Hot 97 and you know Breakfast Club type of thing. Number one. Number two, you had a lot of brothers and sisters that went to Ivies and near Ivy League level schools, right? That is why I reference the grapevine so often, right? I reference the grapevine so often because when you want to know where these crazy takes come from, right? Because you see the one person, let's say it's a Ebony K. Williams, right? And you see her, and we critique her, but she runs. Let's say she runs some of her ideas through a producer, and then Donovan will be the producer behind the scenes, right? Or she has an editor, and someone like Ashley Acuna will be, the editor, right? So like that's the thing with the grapevine. It was people like that, right? And when you watch these people have conversations with, it was a lot of dismissing of men, black men, and their ideas and their feelings and all of that. So when you see someone like me or Zero bring up the grapevine, understand why we reference that particular show that you can't even see anything from it anymore. Right? That and it was so man, it got real ugly on the grapevine a few times. It and yeah, yeah. And that's what helped Mr. Z with the idea that a lot of these people, and shout out to Toya, are hiding their misandry behind intellectualism. They're intellectualizing their misandry, right? And when you watch these ladies talk, all you saw, especially when it came to women like Uchechi, and you some things are so obvious. It's so obvious, right? And the thing, and Obsidian says this, right? And Mr. Z says this, and I think I've heard Sarge Willie Pete speak to this too. You know what their real issue is, and it's so blatantly obvious, but everyone's daring you to say it, right? With Uchechi, you already see what the issue is, man. You see it, but you can't say it, right? You can't say you see, and you could tell from her attitude. She has like we all been around that sister before. She has the "you Negroes ain't choose me" attitude, right? F you Negroes, because you Negroes ain't choose me attitude. And like we all see it, but nobody could say it because it's so on the nose. And then of course, then she would deny it, and then the other people, oh, you're doing this type of shaming and that type of shaming and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So we all know what the especially with Uchechi. You knew, bro. Once you looked at her, you knew what the issue was, right? And that's the thing. Oftentimes, for those of you that don't know, Leon know what I'm saying. You'll be in these liberal spaces, and you'll see a sister like that waxing poetic about patriarchy and about their male entitlement and about the male gaze and all this other stuff, and you know what the issue is, and you just looking at everybody else. So y'all just entertaining this, right? So y'all think this is what it really is? Okay, okay, all right. You taking what she said at face value? All right, right. And that's why you have terms like "believe all women," right? Anyway, right. So I think it's time for us to like, look around, survey the landscape, smell the roses, right? That doesn't mean that we don't get right back to the work tomorrow morning, but I'm giving us a chance and I want us to look around and see our detractors backtracking, see our detractors modifying their language, quote unquote, modifying their language, right? Rebranding, right? Look at our detractors, quote unquote, expanding, right? So I think this is a lot. And I was saying it a year ago. Apparently they thought I was bluffing when I said it a year ago. The tide is, at least online, the tide is turning and y'all still talking the same crap. The white women and the Latinas are shifting, right? I said it a year ago. The more you saw white society saying, "Hey, wait, what's going on with our boys and our men?" And I still heard black women on the same BS. I'm like, "Oh, y'all don't see what's going on," right? And when I hear Dr. Richard Reeves, that's a Brookings Institute researcher, Chrissy, Princella, Yanni, Paris, Lexus Exodus, right? Cynthia G, that's a Brookings Institute researcher. When you see someone like that say something y'all hear Mr. Z say all the time, when Andrew Yang asks him and they having a conversation about relationships, and Andrew Yang is pretty much he's saying it without saying it, like, yo, what about women's hypergamy? Like, if we keep on doing this, what are they gonna do? Right? And we gotta admit, not all of them are gonna be single. And when you hear Richard Reeves get real, he said it. He pretty much said it. Women are gonna do what black women are doing and do the same sex loving thing. He said it. He said it in everything but those exact words Mr. Z said. Right? That interview is still up. If y'all doubt Mr. Z, it's on Andrew Yang's page, his forward page. Check it out. Andrew Yang interviews Dr. Richard Reeves, or it'll probably just say Richard Reeves, right? And that lets you know the tide is turning. But that also, when Richard Reeves said that, that lets you know that they know, oh yeah, y'all on some same sex loving thing and quote unquote bisexual thing because we didn't put our foot on your man's neck, right? This ain't quote unquote about love. Yeah, Leon, exactly. And Leon says Richard Reeves and Andrew Yang even brought up what was going okay with black men. Interesting conversation. And there you go. Yeah, yeah, and yes, he did. I told people Richard Reeves he want Kimberly Crenshaw. He pretty much wants to do the same thing. Shout out to Dr. Green Gorilla. That doctor, he want to sit down with what the hell, this intersectionality thing. What about black men? Right? And Leon says he brought up the unwritten side of black men and intersectionality. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right? And so I think it's time that we sit down and like, smell the roses and realize that you have people like all of the black manosphere, all the doctorates that we have in this space, all the professionals, all the intelligent, aware, right? Capable blue collar brothers, the educated blue collar brothers, obviously the educated white collar brothers, everybody in between, right? Dr. Thunder, right? And you know, it's time for us to, pause for a second, smell the roses. and realize how far we've gotten in a decade. We're moving, people. It's time to make more and more of this rhetoric online actual tangibles for black men. I agree with BGS about us being the first in the line with our hands out, and I have no shame in saying with our hands out, right? Y'all hear what Professor Black Truth says all the time with all the set asides, giveaways, and goodies. Yep. If the government's gonna give it out, if they're gonna start trying to put men back on their feet, you make sure they put black men on their feet first. Shout out to those male feminists. Yes, the big piece of chicken. Yes, 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 and losers. Right. So yes, black men. Tomorrow we're back at it. For those of you that understand, shout out to y'all. The framing on my channel. The reason why I keep on saying no, society, you have to deal with the fact that you raised entitled brats. Because I know it's not just us listening. No, society, you have to come to the conclusion that, yeah, you sold the men on egalitarianism and then you didn't sell the women on it outside of just rhetoric. And there goes your population. Oops. Hmm? So it's good that we take this time, look around, smell the roses, enjoy the scenery. Shout out to all my video game heads, my car game heads, my racing car game heads. When you're on a track and you just speeding through, right? You on the track just racing. So you ever like just cruise on the racetrack and just look around and be like, wait, I've been racing this, I've been playing this game for like 3 years. I never noticed this thing on this track. So this is our time where we ride along on a track and just actually look around for once. Like, oh, I never noticed that, right? So I just want us to enjoy this not victory per se, but if you see Ebony K. Williams taking shots like that right after Tiffany Cross took shots like that, oh yeah, right? Leslie Jones, yep, right? All these people taking shots. You have Smirkonage on CNN mentioning what's going on with men, bringing Richard Reeves on, and bringing Scott Galloway on, right? Christine Imba speaking about it. That's a Nigerian sister, right? Or a woman of Nigerian descent, and she's saying she right, and that she doesn't really look like she deal with the brothers, but you never know. But she's saying she realizes that as a black woman, it's easier, and she's more people are more likely to give her credence when she speaks about the plight of boys and men, right? So yes, we're going to pause for a second and actually look around. We realize we still have work to do, a lot of work to do, but actually count where you are compared to where you were just a decade ago, let alone 2 decades ago, right? Y'all realize we went from the era of, Big D and swag, all that's all black men are, to actually, right, the most involved fathers, right? We went from In the 90s, black men are all behind every corner is a secretly gay black man. To actually, the most same-sex loving demographic in America is actually black women. Oops. And that's actually backed up by the numbers. That's not just hearsay. That's not just resentful brothers just saying that. That's actually backed up by the numbers. Oops. Right? We went from the era of all these deadbeat fathers, they're not in their children's lives and they're not involved, to us actually getting a little bit more nuance and being like, wait a minute, just because he's not married to the wife, to the mother, better yet, just because he's not married to the mother, does that still mean he's not involved? Could he possibly still live in the home with them? Or could he still be involved and see his child 2, 3 times a week? Huh. See, that was for those of you too young, you're in your mid 20s, you don't know. There was like no nuance in the 90s, in the early aughts. It was black men are the worst thing to ever happen ever in the universe, right? Racism, white supremacy, what's that, right? Black men are the worst thing to ever happen. That's why you had the hashtag the Roots articles a few years ago, where everyone, actually including black women, were mocking the Roots, right? And they didn't get it. That's how you sounded, even to other black women. That's how you sounded, right? Pluto is no longer a planet. Blame it on black men. Solar flare texted a couple of satellites. Blame it on black men. Elon Musk's shuttle explodes while it's trying to launch. Blame it on black men, right? Random comet falls in Russia. Blame it on black men, right? Oil spill off of the coast of Alaska kills a couple thousand penguins. Blame it on black men, right? Tsunami floods whatever portion of India. Blame it on black men, right? Hurricane still swirling in on Jupiter for the past, I don't know, 300 years. Blame it on black men, right? Probe that we sent to leave the solar system accidentally crashes into Saturn. Blame it on black men, right? So, you know, we have moved from that. Now, I want y'all to understand the online discourse between black men and black women has been so raging hot. They are not just going to come to the table and have a kind tone. They can't. Not initially, right? So for all the brothers that's hoping and praying for that, ugh, right? They just can't. So because the online discourse has been so contentious, what we will have, in my estimation at least, are people that still want to fight. We're going to still have women that still want to fight, right? And that's okay because they'll just get left behind. And we will use them as an example to other black little girls of what not to do. Ain't going to be no rich aunties. Sorry, black women. All that having a cat and dying alone is much more preferable than to ending up with you one of you dusties. Yeah, that sound nice in your early 30s. That sound nice in your late 20s. That sound nice in your mid 20s. That sound nice. Let's see what that sound like in your mid 40s, in your late 40s, in your early 50s, in your mid 50s. Huh? All of that sound nice, right? These same people call their mothers mammies, right? The same people speak about, their elders, black women, like they're desperate losers. Yeah, you haven't lived long enough, right? Hmm. So this is a time for us to actually see how far we've gotten in the past decade. Because I know when I first started engaging with this stuff, I'd be like, God damn, boy, these sisters is catching bodies on the internet. Jesus Christ. Every other month was an article coming out about how horrible black men were. We mentioned the grapevine earlier. They're putting out a show a week that if it had anything to do with anything black, there was somehow they were going to bring black men in for a hit upside the head or a slap across the face, right? You had crystalline kerosene out here running amok, right? For all of us that remember the Cola Booth line, I'd rather be the gum on the bottom of a white man's shoe than no. Yeah, I would rather be the white man's sword than the gum on the bottom of a black man's shoe. You have that type of sentiment, right? For those of you that weren't here for it, this is before the full-on transition of Cynthia G to beta male coon talk, right? This is before Paris Malone started calling black men quote unquote nakers, right? This is when Chrissy still thinks she had a chance with Sarge Willie Pete. Ah, goddamn, Mr. Z. Whoopsie. Right? Oh yeah. That's before. Yeah, that was before they called us bullet bags. Yeah, that was. Yeah, zero. That was right. So the online discourse was already pretty bad, and then you got certain women starting to profit off of it and turning it up to 11 and thinking that was sustainable. And now Cynthia G has been taken off in front of our faces. Chrissy has switched up her content. Yanni acting like she don't want it, right? Let me say that again. Paris switching up her content. Yanni acting like she don't want it. Chrissy moonwalking, acting like she not because her ego won't let her admit that she is. Her ego won't let her look around and be like, "Oh crap, black women, we looking like we gotta be the only ones holding the bag on this." White women decided to leave us, and they done took their parachute and jumped off the plane. Oh crap, the Latinos are doing the same thing. The Asian women been jumped off the plane. Uh-oh. Black women, are we gonna go down with the plane? Well, black women like you are, Chrissy, apparently. Yeah, Divested Zell is still on YouTube. True, but she's not doing numbers like that. Right. And Detroit says Divested Zealot is still on YouTube. Yeah, she's still on YouTube. She's still on YouTube. Right. See, before we even get to the see, before we can get into the conversation about resources and tangibles and education, right? And family formation when it comes to black people, black boys and men in particular. We have to be honest about why this is so difficult for black people. And yes, the economy has something to do about have something to do with it, of course, and to political structure and anti-blackness in general, absolutely, of course. But also the fact that the women kind of wanted it this way. Huh. And that's the part that's so difficult for so many people to accept in the black community. That manhood is reserved for white men. See, I said this a couple nights ago. I want to reiterate it here. When Dr. Richard Reeves said, men and boys were the primary valedictorians, and they were killing it in college and and high school, and then we took the brakes off of women, and then we realized, oh wow, the education system is kind of skewed for women, and we didn't know it because we didn't, y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Speaking of that, what's going on, Dre? Dre, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. He has a drink, his smokes, and 100. Right. So, as Dr. Richard Reeves was saying, we took the brakes off of women, and then we realized, oh crap, the system is actually built for them. And I wonder if these people really grapple with, when we take the brakes off of women, how they begin to also sound and think, and maybe in certain ways, and this is, particularly me, skewing this conversation for the left to digest. In certain ways, they sound even more sexist than the men, and in certain ways, they sound even more materialistic than the men. Uh-oh. And then what happens when you take the brakes off of women and you hear all the nasty, ugly, neoliberal sounding talking points coming from them? Ugh. What happens when they take hypergamy and break the knob for some of them? Huh? See, Dr. Richard Reeves, when you say we took the brakes off of women, right? And essentially you're saying that we got to see how well they can do in education and how they can, start to rise in their career, and, what type of career endeavors are more feminine that we might not have thought of before, or that women might be more attracted to. Okay. Can we also acknowledge that maybe we also are seeing a side of women that maybe we haven't seen in a long time, right? That we might have thought didn't exist.
right? Essentially, what are the dark triad traits of women? And when you take the brakes off of them, do you not expect to see that, especially in a society such as ours, right? What happens when you start to hear women, particularly in the black community, particularly on the internet, start saying, "Well, if you can't afford me this lifestyle, then maybe I shouldn't have your kids. Maybe we should deny them our womb because they can't afford us this lifestyle." Huh? What do you do with that type of language? Not just the sentiment, right? Because I'm not about quote unquote forcing women to have children or all of the ugly obvious things that come with that, but just the sentiment. Let's grapple with that verbiage, right? Multiple black women playing with this type of eugenics language, as my subscribers are saying in the comments, right? All the ugliness. See, the beauty of that. This is why I say let them talk. The internet will expose us all. The beauty of the internet, to have Shira Seven and Princella and Chrissy and Paris and Yanni. Do y'all? It's the gift that keeps on giving. What's going on, Art? Art New Style in the building, right? This is why we call this the appreciation show for brothers like Art New Style, right? But also because we have what they say, like it's there. The internet is forever. Shout out to the 18th letter. That's why they were deleting videos. Their internet is forever. And we got to see what y'all really think. Unless y'all were putting on for the internet, and that says a lot. But look how ugly it got, right? Look how ugly it got on the internet. Ugh, right? Look at Princella. Princella is a right out of the playbook of radical feminism. Nothing new, right? Look at Chrissy. She took colorism and then parlayed that into black women in luxury and swirler, I guess swirler luxury movement now, right? Paris she just quadrupled down on the femicide talk. Over every corner is a 55-year-old man lurking to try to harm and assault a 14-year-old girl, right? Yanni literally telling us that civil rights leaders deserve all the disrespect they get because what they really just wanted to do was sleep around with white women. They didn't do any of this for equality and human rights and civil rights and, not to have their tax dollars sent off to white communities while black communities just languished. No, civil rights leaders didn't do any of that for that. Malcolm and Martin and Medgar Evers and the rest of them, Fred Hampton and them, didn't do any of that for that, right? Afeni and Asada Shakur, Tupac's mom and aunt, they didn't go through all of that for that. No, they didn't do it for none of the civil rights. No, 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 no. They wanted access to white women. I guess. Wait. No, wait. Oh, my apologies, Yanni. You only were talking about the men. Okay, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Right. Huh. So Martin Luther King didn't talk about class. Oh, wait, he did. And he didn't talk about poverty. Oop, wait, he did. And he didn't talk about wait. Yep. He spoke about reparations too. Yep. No, you're right. He did all of that for white women. Right. And Malcolm, well, yeah, he did all that for white women. Well, if he did all that for white women and he was a light skinned brother, then why did he marry the lightest, brightest woman he could get? Why did he marry a darker skinned black woman, a browner skinned black woman? Huh? Things that make you go, huh? Right. So we're watching these people, and when we, as Dr. Richard Reeve said, take the brakes off of them, this is how they sound. Huh? Now what? So I think this is time for us to look around and actually see that we got these people on the ropes, at least on the internet, at least on YouTube. Now they're going to be slow to the uptake. They don't know who Richard Reeves is. They don't know who Scott Galloway is. They don't know about the tide is turning. They don't know. They don't know about Kearney, and I can't believe I let BGS beat me to that because I watched her interview on a different channel, and I wanted to cover it, and I think BGS might actually cover it before me. If he doesn't get to it, sometime mid next week, then I guess I'll cover it before he does. But yeah, right. Hmm. So we have these people that are helping the tide to turn, not for black men in particular, but it goes to show, black men saying it's the system and the system's rigged against us is an excuse. Right up until it starts happening to white men. And then we realize it's the system. It's like, oh crap, the system's rigged against the men, the straight men. Uh-oh. I wonder what that, wait, where did that come from? Compassion? No, I did not, man. I've been on the run. I've been on the run. Let's just say I'm living life reckless right now. If you know, you know, don't say it in the comments. Right? Let's just say Mr. Z been moving. We'll say that. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I might need it. Right? Well, and KP says heterosexual male penalties. I said this before, and I think I need to go back so I could hear Yvette Carnell say the professor's name again so I can look up the study. But Yvette covered this, oh man, oof, how long ago was this? Had to be 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, something like that. A professor down here in Florida, but on the other side of the state. I'm on the east side of the state. This is out of Florida Gulf Coast University, and a professor out of Florida Gulf Coast University. I think he did a study where they sent a bunch of applications, both job, I want to say it was job and college applications out, and they would indicate whether they were more environmentalist by some of the school programs that they might have been in for high school when they would send it to the schools, or whether they were LGBTQ or not, or whether they were I can't remember what other examples that he used, but those are the two that stuck out in my mind. And the people that got a response, and by the way, these are like all the same grades, right? So, all same test scores, same SATs, all of that other stuff. Um, but the heterosexual black men were the least likely to get a response, right? So when you say heterosexual male penalties, Yeah. Right. And it's like it's not something that we don't know already or we haven't surmised already, but it is something to have that actually put on wax and there actually be a study that shows how intersectionality affects black men and how it's almost always minimized, not even always minimized outside of women finding a way to ride the horse that is black male imprisonment to victory for them, right? Like the most BLM tactic in the world. Dead black straight man, LGBTQ people benefit. How the hell? Right? Oh, we care about our brothers. Not really, but we're going to use their debts for our benefit. All right. And once again, Dre, thank you for the super chat. So this is the time. Oh yeah, wait a minute. How did Mr. Z bring up BLM and I didn't mention that the essential attack on heterosexual nuclear families? So we had the memo and we had the mission statement, and both of them were horrible. Right? The memo was damning. The mission statement was damning. Right? The internal memo pretty much told them to sideline any brother that met with one of them and tried to speak about his plight and redirect it to the plight of someone else who's quote unquote more marginalized. That's what the memo said. Somebody correct Mr. Z if he's wrong. And then the mission statement essentially spoke about all these different alternative quote unquote family models that ain't straight and nuclear, and it pretty much did the end with all of that. Someone correct Z if he's wrong. So this is the time for us to look around and survey the landscape and actually appreciate how far we've gotten in about a decade. Many of us coming in over the past 5 or so years, 6 or so years. Excuse me. Some of us it's because of something traumatic. Some of us just happen to waltz in here and be like, I like it here. Some of us were seeking this. Some of us were not. Some of us, it was the algorithm, right? Some of us, it was life experiences. But now that we're here, it is time to look around and see how far we've gotten. Once again, this doesn't mean that the work doesn't continue tomorrow, that we rest on our laurels because we really haven't gotten far enough. But the fact that the plight of black men and boys is slowly, very slowly, millimeter by millimeter, right, being maybe acknowledged. Huh. So, yeah, that is why we're here, right? That is why we're here. That's why we matter. That's why this matters. And the women ain't built for it anyway. So once they find out and realize that the FBI and the Alphabet Boys is probably looking at them too, then a lot of them will get scared. They're already scared with the Cynthia G thing. They'll get scared and bugger off somewhere and go talk about something else, hair and nails and lifestyle crap, right? Hmm. Eventually, right? And I agree with this. And Will AR says, can't sit back and relax yet. The true fight for the next few generations is about to begin. I agree. I agree. For those of you that have heard me say it before, and I think I've said it on Art New Style's channel, and I've said it on BGS's channel and Charles and the Roger Report. There comes a time, and shout out to Better You, there comes a time when you can't actually be selfish anymore. It's actually going to hurt you. You got to be selfless. You reach the market cap of selfish and self-interested. It would actually behoove of you to actually be selfless so that you can actually gain on the back end. Pause. Where's Cameron when you need him? Son, right? But truly, for you to gain, right? And I've said this, you can't take all the opportunities off the table, ladies, and then get mad when about 20-ish, 25-ish% of black men are the ones you truly are seeking. Outside of the physical, we're not just talking about the physical. And then you try to date outside the race and you realize, oh, skirt, wait a minute. The non-black communities are dealing with the same thing, right? Out of the frying pan into the fire. I ain't gonna compete for those niggas over there just because they earn 60 grand a year. And then you go run outside the black house out into the rest of the world and be like, oh crap, now I'm in line for the white dude that earned what, 70, 75? I went over in that line and the white and Asian women and Latinas told me grab a ticket. And here's some boxing gloves and boxing shoes. Right? No, ladies, you're gonna have to do for your men, dear black women. Right? You don't have a choice in the matter. I said it, and that's why Chrissy said, thank you. Shout out to Chrissy. Thank you for listening. I'm not going back to being pro black man. I'm not going back to being pro black man. Yeah, maybe you don't have to, Chrissy. Okay, fine. Maybe you won't. Fine. But the rest of your subscribers, oh, yes, they will. They don't have a choice. See, I'm a little different than the other brothers in the black manosphere. I tell black women straight up, oh, you don't got a choice because you gonna feel it and your daughter's gonna feel it if you have a daughter and your granddaughter's gonna, oh, y'all gonna feel this. Y'all reached the market cap. The world is changing. Everybody think it's gonna be straight to be single. Right? And KMS is, let's pause right here. And thank you for the super chat, brother. And KMS is big old 50, right? What black women truly fear is not black women's anger and ire of their treatment of black men of the past 60 years, but our indifference. 100% correct about that. I truly believe that. My lady talk about it, the equivalency of indifference, right? Her indifference is not pulling weeds from a garden. Mine removing sunlight. Mm. Can't even grow the weeds if there ain't no sunlight. Ain't no grass, ain't no weeds if there's no sunlight. Right? 100%. Right? And it scares them because let's call a thing a thing. As much as they want to throw up these videos, shout out to you again, Chrissy, of random white men proposing in public to black women, or of a couple of high school black girls or college black girls with or young black women, better yet, with college white dudes or white dudes in high school. It's not enough. There's still too much of a gap between black girls and women that are with black men and then black girls and women that are with non-black people or in same-sex loving relationships. There's still a huge cross section of black women that's with no one. And that's where all the videos come in of the high school girls in their parents' car crying, or in their car, maybe they might have a car in high school crying, or in college in their car crying, or when they're in their early mid 20s and they at the counter the island in their kitchen crying or complaining that they went to the club and nobody spoke to them. They didn't only say no black men, nobody spoke to them. Y'all forgot the video a few years ago of the darker skinned sister? I think she might have been in Vegas. And she went to the club and none of the brothers spoke to her. We come to find out she had a whole mixed baby from a white dude. That's a whole different topic. And she's crying to herself while I don't understand this thing with women. Women, why are you watching? Why are you recording yourself crying? Anyway, right? Attention even when they crying. Okay, whatever. Um, but yeah, see that wide cross section between the Chrissy just do the whole luxury swirler thing and the Princella will come over here with me do the same sex loving thing. There's a whole wide cross section of black women with nobody, black girls with no one. And now what? Uh-oh. Right. And now what? This is why we pause for a second to look around and check out the scenery, which also still gives you motivation to continue. You're like, it's not enough yet, but you still look around and say, oh, okay, we making some moves. We getting hurt a little bit, you know. People are starting to acknowledge the message a little bit, right? Crystalline Karazin is over here snooping around and going on to Obsidian's channel. Chrissy over here listening to Z. Shout out to you, Chrissy. Hi. Stay a while. You might learn something, right? We might take that angst away, right? Paris a whole married now, so she probably just doing things on Patreon. She not really producing like she used to. Enjoying her marriage. Kim Foster still taking shots, but she in a relationship now, so she's glowing. YouTube got rid of Cynthia G for now, at least. Right. So, huh? Leon said, BGS said it, I said it. I would be damned to take part in raising the white man's son. Look, man, look, there's a couple of brothers that'll sign up. Most of us wouldn't. There's a couple of brothers, and that's what a lot of it is for women. I want y'all to understand how we speak about probability here and how they speak about possibility over there. Y'all know Mr. Z listens to them. We speak about probability over here, the likeliness of these things happen. They speak about possibility and they put all their eggs in possibility, if not almost all their eggs in the basket of possibility. It can happen, right? Shout out to all of us, whoever uses that example. We're like, so, ma'am, it's a 99% chance it won't happen. Wait a minute. So you're saying it can happen? So you're saying there's a 1% chance it can happen? But, ma'am, it's like a 99% chance it won't happen. But you saying it can happen. That's where Chrissy come in and the rest of them that show the white dude proposing to the heavier set sister with a kid already on that news station, right? That's where Sierra and Russell Wilson come in. The Sierra prayer. It can happen. Look, it did happen. Ooh, look, 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 look. Okay? That's where that comes from. Meanwhile, black men over here in the black manosphere are trying to increase the chances of meeting a black woman that's not a complete and total materialistic a-hole. The probability. You know what black men over here are not telling their daughters? Not to go to school. You know what they also tell their daughters? Not to be an a-hole. Because you let these other people that's not part of the black manosphere talk. They think we raising people to be complete. We want black women to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, right? Drones. Meanwhile, everybody's saying how egalitarian black men are, right? Just saying. This is why I want us to stop and survey the landscape and look around. And I'm not telling you to put your feet up because then we're gonna get comfortable. And y'all know how that go with black people in general, even black men. You get too comfortable, you put your feet up, and whatever the 2 pennies you did get, you lose it, and you don't get to the dollar, right? That's all we try to do, Trell, is increase the likeliness of you meeting one of these people. And Trell says exactly where are the non-materialistic, non-seed. How would I remix that? Lots, lots, mutts is even more offensive. Can't use that. Lots. Let's do lots. Let's do lots. Right. And that's what it's really about. Right. And Mr. Me Too says, and thank you for the super chat. Black men got something to say. That's all I'm gonna say in my Andre 3000 voice. Shout out to Three Stacks. When is the album supposed to drop? Did it drop? Am I missing something? When is the album supposed to drop? Because everybody's like for everywhere I go. Well, not really everywhere I go, but like the few places I follow on Instagram are like waiting for Dre's album. Right? Did it drop and I just missed it? Am I off too much? I think I'm. If I didn't miss it, I only missed it by a couple of days. Right? And he says, shout out to the Black Manosphere Show of the Week. Thank you, brother. Hashtag support Black Male Media. Thank you very much. Hashtag DOV. Hashtag BIW. Hashtag Black Men Stand Up. Exactly. Oh, and GC said it's out. Okay. Okay, it's out. I didn't miss it by too much, right? I only missed it by like a day or two, right? Please tell me I didn't miss it by like a week or two. I know I didn't miss it by a week or two. I know I missed it by like a day or two. Or a week, but not a week or two. Or 2 weeks. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, brother, no, yeah. Black men have something to say. Yes, Mr. Me Too. Yes, black men, and thank you once again for the super chat. Yes, black men have something to say. Important. Because everybody should have been taken after our lead anyway. What y'all thought, Mr. Z? I meant it when I said it, and I know what I said. Black men are gonna drag this country kicking and screaming to what it said it is on paper. Right? Black men are going to drag this country kicking and screaming into what it is on paper. I'm just about telling everybody else to just hang on for the ride, get comfy, put your seatbelts on, because clearly y'all don't know what y'all doing, and that's to everybody. Like, I mean, everyone who's not a black man, particularly a straight black man. I mean, like everyone. That includes black women, black LGBTQ, non-black folks, white folks, everyone. Move over, right? So I definitely agree with this. I definitely agree with this, Mr. Me Too, right? But everyone, we are going to have to pause, maybe, kind of, possibly. Yes, we do, right? But I wanted to give us a moment to pause, survey the landscape. That doesn't mean, because y'all know how this goes. That doesn't mean we won't wake up fresh tomorrow, wipe the coal out of our eyes, rest in peace, Biggie, right? And check our phone and be like, oh crap, somebody's at it again with the foolishness about how black men ain't ish and how they're dusty and how they need to step up and how they jealous of black women. Shout out to you, Ebony K. Williams, right? So we definitely, you know, can't get too comfortable. This doesn't really mean much, but we do, I think, to keep, excuse me, to keep our spirits up, we do have to survey the landscape and actually appreciate all the brothers that are producing content for the Black Manosphere, that stand on it, that are upstanding citizens, that are stand-up guys, right? That are doing the Lord's work. I love this for real. And Zero says, Knights of the Dust Table unite. I love that we're owning Dusty. Oh, I want us to make them eat those words. Oh, we're gonna make y'all regret calling us Dusty, right? For real. But yeah, this is the time for us to enjoy that, everyone, right? I feel like the art teacher off of the Boondocks, that was based off of the actual art teacher, what is his name? All the Xers and boomers know who I'm speaking about. The episode on the Boondocks with Riley and the art teacher, right? And the art teacher is actually based off of the actual I forgot his name. It's right there. Every somebody, one of the boomers or Xers. I'm too young. I'm millennial. Well, actually, maybe an older millennial. Bob Ross. I knew it. There we go. Name and Terrell Bentley. Thank you. And Zero. There we go. Thank you. Bob Ross. Yes. Because I was speaking low and I felt like Bob Ross. Thank you, everyone. Right. But yeah, no, I think we this is the time for us to look around. Actually, that's a good episode I just referenced, actually. Exactly. Right. This is the time for us to look around and actually say, you know what? You know what? Even for self-esteem, it's good that we're here first as a bunch of brothers, loosely affiliated brothers, number one. But number two, to acknowledge you not crazy. It's not all in your head, right? Number three, that some of the messages that you were being told as a child, as an adult, that was coming from mainstream media, that was coming from black media, um, that was just coming out of the ether about how horrible black men were, when shown in the light, not true, gross exaggerations, absolute lies, falsehoods, propaganda, etc., right? Huh. So yeah, stink meaner, right? Stink meaner. That those couple episodes was stink hysterical. I got a friend that could do the stink meaner voice, but the stink meaner voice, you have to have a different voice box for that one because that looked like it just fries your vocal cords doing the stink meaner voice. All in your chest. No, I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Right. Bushido Brown, that was good. That was good. Right. But yeah, so this is a take a couple of seconds, everyone. Just look around, look how far we gotten. Enjoy the scenery. We got work to do tomorrow morning, right? We have work to do. But yeah, and Leon says, and thank you for the super chat. And he says, I'm going to start lying to black women, aka my mom's white, and my father's raised us in upper middle class, and my mom said half the bills my white woman queen mom. Why are you gonna lie to black women for? Right? Maybe if you tell them true, if you tell them your mom's white, then they might be more they might be more cooperative, right? Gangstalicious. Ew, they kissing. Ew, they swapping spit. That shit had me dead. Oh man, homies over hoes. What? This dude grabbed the chick by the face and threw her halfway across the damn dance hall. Oh, the funniest, yo. Oh man, Boondocks was so accurate and so funny in so many ways. Fake ass Mariah Carey. It's a pimp named Slickback. You say the whole thing. It's like a child called Quest. Oh man. He said, "No, my mom is black. I know. I said, I was just, I'm starting. Let me reread this. Maybe I read this wrong. I'm going to start lying to black women, aka my mom is white, and my father raised us in upper middle class, and my mom paid half the bills. My white white woman queen mom. No, I know. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I got what you're saying. I just was saying why lie? It's funny. It's funny though. That was funny. And pants ripping everywhere. A pimp called Slickback. You say the whole thing, right? Oh man. Now Boondocks. That was. I really want Aaron McGruger to bring it back. It got to be him. It can't be no one else, right? It got to be him. Black evil television. Yeah. No. Yeah. It got to be him. It got to be him. Crazy wolf bitch. Anyway. All right, everyone. We're gonna end right there. We're gonna pause right there. Um, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Um, yeah. Look, every once in a while, even for morale, you actually have to pause um and smell the flowers, right? And realize you weren't crazy. And realize you heard what you heard and you knew better. And you have confirmation. You have confirmation from articles. You have confirmation. Rest in peace, John Witherspoon. Oh, he said, "Oh, John Witherspoon's son sounds just like Pops." Okay, so he could maybe do Pop's sound. That would be dope. That would be so dope if they hire him to do his dad's voice on the Boondocks. That would be so dope, right? So, and Will AR says SYSBM for life is always hashtag SYSBM for life is always. Yeah, so no, for even from around, we gotta actually pause for every once in a while and actually realize how far we've come. Because I know for a while, even though I have a couple of homeboys but they're not really in it the way I am, and I don't know if we ever really struggle with women like that, right? That's another thing that like I don't know. Like I know there's brothers that really struggle with women, but like, yeah, nah, me and my circle not like that. So when you're online and you see some of the comments from the sisters and you like that's not it. right? And it's a good thing to know that other people had similar experiences. Is it's not, excuse me, it's not all in your head. And then to now have actual PhDs backing you up. Shout out to all the doctorates in this space. Shout out to all the PhDs in this space. And then to have people that are not even affiliated with them, with any type of quote unquote manosphere, black or otherwise, also start to say, hey, and then for it to not only be men, yeah, you know. And GC says people get hyperbolic on the internet. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And we already know this is where Dr. Richard Reeves comes in with the preferences and revealed preferences, right? What people are putting on and saying they're not about and they're not going to do and they're not going to settle for and they're not doing this. And then when you see them in real life, it's like, bruh, right? So yeah, no, I have not. And Detroit said, you heard about Hassan Campbell? No, I have not. Okay, so I'm gonna have to Google that when I get off. But everyone, we're gonna have to make a hard stop here. And like I said, love, peace, and chicken grease. We will pause right here. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all night. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Um, Detroit, email me with the Hassan Campbell thing. Um, what was I gonna say? I think Keep It 100 might be on right now, right? Only logical. What's going on, bro? Once again, great work you're doing over there. Great work you're doing over there, right? Um, and yeah, so we'll truly pause right there. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all night. And Mr. Z out. Oh yeah, we're gonna probably. I'm really because I really want to. I want to do a panel tomorrow. Hopefully, knock on wood. Let's see how tired Mr. Z is. We'll see. So that's still up in the air. If not, then Friday. Wait, Friday? Maybe Friday. Where are we? Maybe. If not Monday, Friday. But we got to do a panel because I want to do a part two. Um, to one of the videos I did a couple days ago, a couple nights ago, and then I want to bring a panel in afterward. So yeah, I got to do a part two to that stream. Anyway, okay, everyone, y'all have a great rest of your night. Mr. Z out.